The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and in this video, we conduct a sea trial and performance evaluation of the 560 Sky from Galeon. The Sky lineup is defined by the express cruiser profile that morphs into a functional flying bridge operating station. This, in effect, allows us to close the area off in inclement weather while at the same time improving the handling by not only limiting the windage, but keeping the weight and therefore the center of gravity down low. When opened up, the gathering area wraps around the center console operating station. Seats to either side, one with a flip seat back, welcome additional eyes looking forward. A bronze tone panel houses a 12-inch display to the left of the stainless and vinyl wrapped wheel. To the right is the 7-inch Volvo Penta engine diagnostic screen that also doubles as a GPS plotter. The autopilot, thruster controls, and the engine controls, which are mounted nearly vertical. The compass is tucked into a center recess. Below and to the left are the electrical switches and a fusion stereo. Glove storage and beverage holders are both to the outboard sides. A windscreen is lowered to reduce the profile when the area is closed off and lifts on dual gas struts to provide adequate protection when operating from this station. And no, it doesn't blow down at full speeds. The helm seat is comfortable with stainless armrests with padding. The process for closing the roof is lower the console profile, lower the windshield, and then the seat. Step to the stairs and actuate the clamshell roof, and just like that, closed up. No pulling out covers. At the lower helm, a compass is in line with the wheel and atop the glossy dash panel. Two 12-inch displays flank climate control vents aimed directly at the operator. A quick drop area is just beneath. Below, an annunciator panel shows when lights are activated on a profile of the 560. A 7-inch Volvo Penta display provides engine readouts. An autopilot control is right next to the wheel, which is stainless frame with a padded surround. A switch panel is below. To the right are trim tab controls and bow and stern thruster sticks. Ignitions are just to the right. The digital throttle controls are within comfortable reach. The VHF is way in the back, and I like that there's a nice spot for dropping the cell phone. This could use an inductive charging mat. The bench seat is 39 inches and adjusts fore and aft. The quality of fit and finish is consistent with the brand, including the diamond stitching and custom embroidery. There's storage underneath, and in front, a comfortable footrest. Visibility is through dual windshields, each measuring 66 inches by 68 inches and separated by a 6-inch mullion. Defogging vents are fitted. When standing, the frame of the overhead sunroof is directly in my line of sight, so either sitting or leaning against the bench seat is in order. Just around the corner in the companionway is the main electrical panel, and I'd like to see a support for the cover. Inside, Galeon utilized both rocker and push-button switches. The crew space is accessed from a door in the transom. There's a spring-loaded locking pin type latch on the inside, and when pulled to open the latch, it will again drop down and lock the lever. Make sure you bring the pin up and turn it so it won't drop down again. Otherwise, you're locked out of the crew space and will need to go through the galley hatch and through the engine room to unlock it. Inside, choose from either a single or double berth layout. It's laid out with the nice fabrics that we're seeing throughout the yacht, so no shortcuts for the crew. Just ahead of the entrance is a wet head with curtain. Headroom varies from 5 feet 2 inches to 4 feet 4 inches. Storage is to the sides and windows are just above. There's an air conditioning compressor in the cabinet just ahead. There are 2 access points to the engine room, through this watertight door at the crew cabin and a hatch in the galley. The engine room is efficiently laid out and clean. There's 20 inches between the narrowest points at the ladder and 3 feet 2 inches of headroom. The star of the show being the twin 725 horsepower Volvo Penta D11 engines. They're turbocharged, so they're drawing more air in to operate at lower RPM and higher torque. Both are turning straight shafts. Daily checkpoints for both are in the center walkway, but there's plenty of access space to the outboard sides of both for servicing. Exhausts are well supported and running into underwater baffles, making the 560 a good neighbor among crowds. At the aft end of the compartment is a 17 kW generator and a sound shield. The painted fuel tanks are easily seen to both sides, and fuel filter water separators are mounted right to each one. I'd like to see a sight gauge added to the mix. All electrical is to the forward bulkhead, including the main batteries, switches, and charger. Fire protection is in the middle. Removable deck panels give us easy access to the gray water tank and bilge areas. This allows us to see the through hulls, one for each of the mains, the generator, and air conditioning system, all of which are double clamped and bonded to the vessel's grounding system. and Galeon does an excellent job of labeling absolutely everything. Inside the salon, an upper cabinet houses panels controlling the chiller system, the generator, and voltage alarms. 3 7-inch steps lead up to the 15-inch wide side decks. The in-house fabricated stainless steel rail tops out at 26 inches. There's a 16-inch midship cleat, and grab rails run along the entire cabin sides. There's a boarding gate in the middle. 2 more 16-inch cleats are mounted to the cap rails well aft of the forepeak. The ground tackle is all recessed into the foredeck. A cleat is provided as safety to secure the plow-style Delta anchor. A hatch to starboard allows access to the road locker. A freshwater quick connect is to the outboard side. Foot control switches are to port. A remote spotlight is to the port cap rail. At the platform, 11-inch cleats are mounted well forward of the trip zone, and stainless vents to the engine room are above, both, again, built in-house at the company's foundry right on the property in Poland. This is also the case with the chocks, the 16-inch cleats, and teak mounted to the top of the bulwarks to the sides of the aft deck. Line storage is just behind. As we cast off, the upper level provides a solid view of the entire side of the boat. The thrusters clearly have more than enough power to slide us sideways from the dock and into the narrow fairway as we make our way out, using the engine controls rather than steering through the tight confines. Once into a more roomy channel, the 560 proved to be responsive to the helm even at low speeds. The Galeon 560 Sky has a length overall of 58 feet 1 inch, a beam of 15 feet 7 inches, and a draft of 55 inches. With an empty weight of 53,462 pounds, 53% fuel, and 3 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 55,915 pounds. With the pair of 725 horsepower Volvo Penta D11s turning straight shafts, we reached our top speed of 30.7 knots at 2520 RPM. Best economic cruise was found to be at 2,000 RPM and 23.2 knots. It was at that speed that the 45 gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 0.5 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 269.8 nautical miles. All, of course, while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 581 gallon total fuel capacity. Galeon not only makes very seaworthy hulls, but they're efficient as well. We had a minimum planing speed of 12 knots and she was solidly on plane at 15.4. If we pushed the throttles down to the pins, she reached planing speed in 10.8 seconds and passed through 20 miles per hour in 12.5. For running characteristics, responsive is the takeaway word. Push the throttles forward and this big yacht jumps into action, and then boosts ahead even more once the turbos kick into action, which counts for the planing and acceleration times. She's got a surprisingly responsive feel to the helm, responding immediately to steering inputs. In turn tests, she rolled 17 degrees into the turns with no adverse effects. She drops her shoulder in just a bit, so there's a slight loss of speed in the turns, and she recovers quickly. She'll come around 180 degrees in 22 seconds at 21 knots. Regrettably, we had nearly flat calm conditions during our tests, so great for getting performance numbers, but for testing her seakeeping abilities, not so much. That said, one has only to look at our test of Galeon's 485 HTS to get an idea of what these boats are capable of. Regardless, today we were left with crossing wakes to show smooth transitions with no pounding or hull slap, and we couldn't even get spray on the windshield. At the lower helm, I appreciated the visibility this station offered. The foredeck slopes downward slightly so you can see closer to the boat. The large mullions to the sides were a touch obtrusive, so especially when looking to the right, move your head to see around it. The return to the dock was as uneventful as the departure, with the thrusters providing the maneuverability to slide into the berth with exacting precision. Then I was able to hold her just off the dock as the crew stepped off for a tie-up. While the center position of the helm doesn't allow for an immediate view of the side, all it takes is just to step over to gain the visibility needed. A fair trade-off for being in the center position while underway. As with all Galeon models we've tested, this one continues to impress when underway. She's easy to handle and therefore makes an easy transition to someone trading up, and her solid feel contributes to the smooth handling characteristics. Because all of the work is done in-house, the quality control is second to none. There's no creaking of wood when underway, no rattling of doors, the whole boat just feels tight. As nice as she is to drive, she's also a pleasure to be on for entertaining and overnighting, but that's covered in another video, be sure to look for it. For now, this is my sea trial and performance evaluation of the 560 Sky from Galeon. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.